Today I want to talk about a photo of Jimin, Jin, and JHope being deleted and what happened there. I wanted to get into Jimin being insulted over some new photos that have come out, and then I want to get into a TV host mocking Jung Kook. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave Desai. Hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Go right to the Dumplings, hey Spilling Mug merch, and let's go. BTS has been around for a little bit, and even people who have just started in their career as an artist or celebrity or whatever will face a bit of backlash. It's expected to face backlash within haters in an audience. They typically do not know what goes on behind the scenes, and a lot of the haters have nothing better to do with their day than to hate on other people. However, if you're someone who has a platform, creates content, and has a voice that can be heard by thousands of people, it is literally your responsibility to make sure that everything that is said is well researched. If you have a decent sized platform and you're basing your opinions on rumors and not things that you've researched or watched yourself, then you need to reevaluate what you're doing and you're actually the problematic one. I see this happen all the time. I think the bigger your platform gets, the more you should be able to see the people you find quote unquote problematic as a human being and understand that there might be a reason or a huge misunderstanding as to why they get hate. And this is what I preach on this channel a lot. Jung Kook specifically is someone who is definitely not hated by the mass majority of people, but is hated by a collective group of people for no reason. ARMYs got really upset when they noticed an alleged TV station and host insulting Jung Kook. A Mexican TV show called Quechalada talked about one of Jung Kook's recent live streams. Jung Kook's streams consist of song covers, talking to ARMY, and practicing English. There was a moment during the stream that Jung Kook addressed something that he really doesn't vocalize too much, which is the increased amount of sasaengs or stalker fan activity recently. Jung Kook recently was at the gym practicing boxing, and he noticed a bunch of ARMYs that had shown up and taken photos and videos of him. Jung Kook on the stream talked about how he did not expect this and it took him by surprise. He mentioned that one of the reasons he is even talking about this or has the courage to talk about it is because he is drunk, and he asked fans if they could please not show up during private activities. So something that is listed on Jung Kook's official schedule is free range to show up, but things like private gym sessions should not be a meet and greet. Aside from the fact that it would be quite alarming to see a crowd when you least expect it, it can definitely be a bit of a fire hazard as well, and safety issues when during moments like this, Jung Kook may not have security with him. His argument is very understandable and quite fair. However, the Mexican TV show allegedly took the conversation Jung Kook had on the stream out of context to say that Jung Kook got drunk and attacked fans, and the official clip is deleted. I can't find it, and even if I did, my Spanish is not that good when people speak too fast. And I'd say all this because ARMYs have the tendency to misunderstand things, and things that are even in English, like the James Corden situation and those things. But if it's actually true, I think it's hard for a person who may be trying to get international fame or want success to Jung Kook to understand that fame at that level that Jung Kook has can be quite suffocating. To go to a moment where you don't look your best because you're all sweaty at the gym and maybe you smell bad, and then you have the fear that if you do something, it's going to get clipped and be in tomorrow's headline as a scandal. Or the fact that Jung Kook may not want to say hi to the people there, and that ends up making him look rude to fans. Similar to what is being accused of what the Mexican TV show said. So it's very understandable for Jung Kook to react that way. I think this would just be a matter of a different perspective and the station allegedly not understanding Jung Kook's perspective. I don't think, as of recording right now, there has been a public apology. This of course made news, and a lot of people were definitely talking about Jung Kook in the last few days. Before that, Jin actually had a bit of the spotlight when he released a photo of him in the military. If you are not aware, Jin is currently not being managed by HYBE, I don't think, as in I think everything he does has to go through the government and not through HYBE. So every post he makes needs permission from the military first. And this typically isn't the case for most people. But anyone who has social media and it's part of their job, it can be seen as work to post, and working while you're in the service is not allowed. But we're getting ahead of ourselves here. There were some issues with the Jin, Jimin, and JHope photo. Jimin and JHope ended up visiting Jin at the camp for a little while, and they ended up taking a photo together. The members all wished Jin well, and you could tell they visited because they missed him and wanted to check up on him to make sure that he was okay. And fortunately, he is very much okay. The picture is actually available on Jin's Instagram, but something you might not actually know was that there was another picture, and that picture was apparently deleted. It was believed it was posted to Big Hits or BTS's official account on Twitter, since it was deleted before I saw it. I cannot confirm, but this is what people believe. One of the photos was the one we see on Instagram, and then the other photo is the same, but we see Jin's hand actually covered his status in the military, so you might might know from all the headlines that Jin got promoted to private first class. So this is a big upgrade, and that means a lot being in the military. There's a lot of pride associated with that status. And then funny enough, after the 2 photos were deleted, the one photo where it shows Jin's status ended up being reposted onto Jin's personal Instagram. So why did the photo get allegedly deleted on Twitter? Well, there's a few theories to that actually. People believe, as I said earlier, that Jin is not allowed to work, so posting it on the official BTS pages would be believed to not be allowed. But posting on his personal account would just be for personal use and thus apparently allowed. The theory makes a lot of sense, and I don't see why it would be deleted for any other reason. I'm sure people panicked when they noticed a cute photo of Jin, JHope, and Jimin to be deleted. One less Jin, JHope, and Jimin photo, they must have thought. I'm sure all the Jimin fans were also very sad when it happened, but very happy when it was reposted. However, Jimin doesn't just only appear in that photo. We are seeing Jimin a lot more lately as he has his solo stuff coming right up, like it's very close. He is releasing his solo album Face, and the concept of this album is that it will be a true look into himself. It will be very authentically him, and he is going to be super vulnerable with it. And he has been teasing the album by releasing concept photos. Concept photos are not anything that will likely appear in the music video, but just give you a look and feel into what the lead single or what the album as a whole is going to look like. So far, they have released 3 versions of the concept photo. So mood photos, these were the black and white, extremely artistic photos. And then we have Jimin's hardware photos. And these photos were with Jimin with a more hard look on his face, and even some shirtless photos of Jimin. We got to see his shoulder and then some spikes glued onto him. And then HYBE released Jimin's software photos. These photos are with Jimin looking a lot more vulnerable. He is completely white and it's been very stripped back. It's very raw. However, the software photos are not really the photos I want to talk about today. In fact, I actually want to discuss the hardware photos, especially the ones where we see Jimin nude. There had been some backlash over these photos online, and people were being very rude about it. Jimin tends to get more hate than any other member that I have seen. However, every single fan who is a fan of just one member tends to say that their member gets the most hate. But I really do think it's Jimin. There's attacks on Jimin from all angles. You're either your everyday hater that just hates Jimin for no reason, or you're someone who ships 2 members together and you hate Jimin. And a lot of the ships collectively just attack Jimin because Jimin is friendly with all the members. Jimin was receiving hate over the shirtless photos, and people were insulting him a lot. There were K-pop stores that were running a pretty cool promotion saying if you buy a few of the magazines, you'll get a free Jimin magazine. If you're someone who supports BTS, that sounds great, and you'd probably want an extra free magazine. However, some people were talking about how they think Jimin's beautiful face is ugly, and then insulting to say that they don't actually want the gift and that they will pass. It's so interesting when there is literally a whole subculture part of the fandom and side of social media that has people who collectively hate the same person, and then all those haters just think that the world agrees and hates that person too, when in reality it's just a collective small group that hates. But they all constantly just feed off of each other, and social media does a great job at creating this echo chamber. So if you don't like something, you're just going to see others who don't like it either. And so a lot of things don't even go viral anymore. They just go viral within a subculture, and then sometimes they get out of that, but rarely do they get out into mainstream culture. It's just very weird, and it irks me that these people then will walk around thinking that the world agrees with their hatred when really only a small percentage actually does. But what do you think about all this? How do you feel about Jung Kook being allegedly mocked? How do you feel about the Jin, JHope, and Jimin photo apparently deleted? And how do you feel about the pics of Jimin being mocked? Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thanks for this lovely comment right here. Love you. Bye.